I'm muted.
We are going to get this party started. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to WealthyU Wind Down. It's the launch of our new book. And I say our because this was really a group project. I often say it's not, we talk a lot about wealth, we talk a lot about investing, but I want you to know that it's not about the money, it's about the mission. And the mission is all about helping 1 million women get to $1 million in investable assets so that they can not only pass those assets, but it's the real most valuable asset is the knowledge of how to build wealth. So come on in here, get on in here, ladies. I want to get up to a couple of hundred folks tonight, but right now, let me give you all some shout outs. Yeah, Denitra, welcome, Southfield, Michigan. Who else is here? Congratulations, still growing after 20 years. That's right, Rhonda, you cannot stop. Liz Johnson, my good girlfriend, the designer with the mostest, the interior designer. Good to see you here. Sharon Gregory from New Jersey. Good to see you, Sharon. Who else is in the house? Rhonda Anderson from Roanoke, Virginia. I love this. Look at, we're touching everywhere. Tashima from Connecticut, New Haven, Connecticut. Good to see you. Greetings from Delaware, Jean. So good to see you. Is that Letitia from Jacksonville? Yes, good to see you. Rorette from right here from Maryland in my neck of the woods. Excellent. So glad to see all of you. Thank you for the warm congratulations. But what I want all of you to know is that what we are celebrating this evening is really has been a labor of love, but also would not be possible if it were not for the women who shared their unvarnished story and their journey to what is now legacy wealth. This is what WealthyU is about. And so what I also want all of you to know is that who's ready to go higher? Who's ready to go higher? We are about to reboot. We're going to reboot because that's what we all must do. Agree or disagree, that's what we all must do. We must be ready to innovate, to pivot, to embrace change, to see the possibilities and volatilities. That is a WealthyU mantra because we never lose. We either win or we learn, and that's what it's about. Win. We are winners, and I'm going to talk about the fact that if you're ready to reboot, I want you to get ready. I'm going to be teasing some things this evening, so get ready for that. But first of all, it's WealthyU Wind Down Wednesday, so we need to take the edge off, right? How many of you have been just, it just seems like every day something new is happening, and every day, and sometimes it's not always good, right? Or, here's what's so interesting is that, you got to enjoy every day. You just got to be grateful. And so that is my toast for this evening. Welcome to WealthyU Wind Down. Get your glass, your adult beverage, your glass of water, and let's give a toast to the fact that we are all here together and that we are celebrating something remarkable. I want to just share with you how remarkable it is to now see this book in print, but also to see the stories of the women. So my toast this evening is to the women of WealthyU who tell their stories in this book, who also were interviewed on my show, Get Wealthy, and now what we're going to be able to do is share those stories and get to the 1,000,000 women so we can help them get to 1,000,000. And my question and my toast to you this evening is, will you be one of the 1,000,000 with 1,000,000? So a toast. That's good. What am I drinking this evening? My favorite, a Cabernet from California, because that's how we do what we do. So good evening, everybody. Let's get into it. It is a celebration tonight, and the celebration is celebrating this new book, Wealth Secrets. And I want to give you all a little backstory on how this book came to be and why this book is so, so important. If you're ready to hear the backstory in the chat, put yes, I'm ready to hear the backstory. If you're ready to hear the backstory and now understand how this book really fits into the assignment and the mission, put yes in the chat, okay? And why this book is a seminal event that is going to allow us to touch many, many women in a profound way. And so if you're ready to hear that, the backstory on this, just tell me I'm ready. Okay, you put yes. So who else said yes? So Shanice says yes. Rhonda says yes. Denitra says yes. Rose says yes. Okay, so let me talk about, thank you for all the congratulations. Man, I forgot I'm on all different platforms. I'm even on LinkedIn this evening. So let me just share with you the backstory. So many of you kind of know my story, right? That my background, I've been in the investment industry for a couple of decades. And then I decided that I wanted to be able to share with people who didn't come from wealth, the insight that I had gained from my career, starting as a financial advisor, actually starting as a registered sales assistant, going on to become a financial consultant and on to be a VP and branch manager and manage the West Coast for a large investment company, and then landed back here in the district, the DMV as we call it now. And that's where my husband spent almost 2 decades on the air in Baltimore as an anchor and reporter. And it was during that time that I had young children that I wanted to have some flexibility and also align to my passion and calling. And what I loved to do, even when I was in corporate, was be able to provide seminars and workshops and financial education to folks. And then as things would happen, talk about pivoting, wanting to, that work-life balance, how many that you can have it all, but you can't have it all at the same time? If you agree with that, put agree in the chat, right? So imagine me, this woman who's now managing an office in Washington, D.C., commuting there, 2 young children, nanny at home. And one day I came home and my daughter cried for the nanny because the nanny was going home for the weekend. Was that crazy? And that really, and she said to me, she said, Deb, I don't want to get in your business. She was an African woman from Uganda. And it was just like having my mother there because, she cooked. She was like, y'all eating this baby instant food. You need to eat real food. Well, anyway, long story short, that really is what put me on this path really to begin wanting to educate women, specifically because of my own mother. And if you read my book, A Purse of Your Own. So the first book I wrote was Confident Investing. And that's when I shared my mother's story, the fact that she had separated from my father after 30 years of marriage. And I saw her standard of living change. And as a young woman at that time, just going to college, it shook me to my core. And all I could think about is that I would always have a purse of my own. And if you know, that's the title of my second book, right? And so this journey has taken me, it's been quite the journey from touring for the National Association of Securities Dealers, which is now FINRA, right? So I wasn't called a brand ambassador then. I didn't know what an influencer or a brand ambassador was, but that's what I was. But I just had this message that I wanted to share, because one of the things that I began to understand is that, you know, like if you didn't come from wealth, the insight that I was gaining being inside, you would never get, because you have to be high net worth, have investable assets of $1 million or more. And literally, you just are not given the kind of strategy, advice, and care that the very wealthy do and have. And that's just a fact. Okay. So, you know, people can argue with me about whether that's true, about whether investments are democratized. Well, they are not. Right. And to be honest with you, I didn't know how wide this gulf between what the haves and the have-nots was, until I went on this journey. And so I went on, I toured with Bishop Jakes. I did all kind of media. I wrote books. From Confident Investment to Purse of Your Own to Nickel and Dime Your Way to Wealth, all of those books. And what became clear to me, what became clear to me, my son made clear to me. He said, Ma, you could do all the workshops and the financial empowerment you want, but people need accountability and they need support. And that really was the genesis of WealthyU. And in fact, my son wrote the manifesto for WealthyU, and it's just so amazing how aligned what has become WealthyU is today, right? So now I start WealthyU, I'm coaching individual women, and what became clear then is that, this mission to financially empower 1 million women, which was the goal then, couldn't happen unless I scaled, right? So then I wrote the book, A Purse of Your Own. And in the book, A Purse of Your Own, if this is making sense to you guys in the chat, put yes. If the journey and the backstory, if this is making, if this is adding to your understanding of the mission, put yes. Okay. So then I write the book, A Purse of Your Own. And in the book, A Purse of Your Own, and in the last chapter, it's called Sisterhood of the Purses. I asked women to start purse groups, to read one chapter of the book, get 5 of their good girlfriends together, meet once a month, read one chapter of this book and apply what they're learning. And over 1,400 1,400 groups started actually, right? And yet, what do you think happened? What do you guys think happened? Any idea? What do you think happened? Well, what happened is because they didn't have any accountability and support, and because they were novices at investing, those things kind of fledged. They went fledgling, right? They kind of petered out. And so then, at the urging of my son, I start WealthyU. I'm giving accountability and support. I'm coaching women. And it's I had this idea. And the original idea, okay, the origin of WealthyU really was, the goal to close the wealth gap, but to close the wealth gap by giving ordinary people who didn't come from wealth access to the knowledge that those high net worth individuals receive. And here's what's really cool. I don't want to leave this out, because with A Purse of Your Own, I went touring around this country, and I had a woman reach out to me from Bay Path College in Long, Massachusetts, Mary Paycheck, and we became the best of friends. And she hosted me. I met the president at the time, Dr. Carol Bryant. she was like, we have got to get this to our women, because it was a women's college, right? And so they said, listen, would you write a curriculum and would you teach it? And I'm like, I don't know about that, you know. I don't know about that. You know, like I'm over here in Maryland and I have no interest. Well, long story short, I did build a curriculum based on the book, A Purse of Your Own. And that became a course at Bay Path College. I did proctor it. I taught the class for 2 semesters. And then, you know, and so here's why I want you to understand this, because that curriculum became the curriculum for WealthyU, right? So the Women in WealthyU, that is the curriculum. I just want you to know the origin of that curriculum came from the course that I had created for Bay Path University, right? So, you know, I'm doing individual coaching, doing some one-on-one. Women would go through the program. They would learn how to analyze and research their portfolio. And they would, you know, they might have 5 or 6 sessions with me, and they would go on and they would go off. And so, you know, I probably coached a few hundred women. And then guess what happened? Anybody want to guess? Does anybody know what happened? So that's right, people slack off. So because leadership is important. That's what I want you guys to understand. Leadership is so, so important, okay? So I'm coaching all these women and they go off to themselves. And then anybody what do you think happened? Anybody want to know what happened? What happened? Anybody want to guess what happened? So imagine you learned all these tools, you got all this information, but then you go back into your circle, right? What happens when you leave Weight Watchers, when you no longer go to those meetings? Anybody want to guess what happens? We revert back to our own habits, right? Because we're no longer in community and we're not with like-minded people. And so what happened was, and I had resisted this, you guys, for years, you know, and I had a coach telling me, Deb, you need to build community. You need to build community. I'm like, listen, ain't nobody gonna tell nobody nothing about their personal finances, blah, blah, blah. It won't work. And I had all these reasons why it wouldn't work. And then COVID happens. COVID happens, and then I start getting emails and calls. The world is going to end. My portfolio is going down. I don't know. I'm going to sell. And I'm like, listen, are y'all serious? Are y'all really serious? Is this what we're really talking about? Like everything that you learn through your coaching, you now want to just throw to the wind because you're scared. And so what it caused me to do, and the interesting thing about this is just, you know, it's just so wonderful how things align. I had, at that time, right as COVID happened, I went to Atlanta. And I tell this story because my husband had just went to Texas, came back home, was sick as a dog. And I had the presence of mind because the year before we had both gotten the flu, and it scared our kids to death because I'm telling you, I thought we was going to die. And so when he came home sick, I was like, listen, we cannot both be sick at the same time. So long story short, I go to Atlanta to this training. And what's funny, I get to the airport and all of these people have on like hazmat and masks, and I have nothing on because they're telling you don't wear masks. Do y'all remember that? Don't wear masks because they need it for the medical people. So then I'm like, all I got is a shawl. I get on the plane, I wrap myself in this shawl. And then I go to this meeting, and there is a woman from Babson College. And I was there with a lot of entrepreneurs. And she was talking, what they focus on is minority entrepreneurs, being a first generation entrepreneur, what that means, and the need for leadership. Wow. Boom, 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 right between the eyes. And so I come back, and all that is on my mind is that, yes, it's so similar. First generation entrepreneurs, first generation investors, you got to show leadership. And so then I start this 21-day challenge, and every night for 21 days, I invite all of my old coaching clients. They come in and we go 21 days. And then finally, I just say, okay, thinking of my coach, Uncle, I start our first group coaching program, which was the WealthyU Society, right? So that's really how the WealthyU Society came into being. And I also, you know, in my previous books, I always had archetypes, right? Like women who exhibited the behaviors of a wealthy woman, but I had never actually coached and had for a length of time and actually taken the information, and that, you know, we had this 7 steps to 7 figures, had women get to 6 and 7 figures, right? So what the coaching program, the idea was, right, in the WealthyU Society and the new WealthyU, that I could operationalize that curriculum so that it could be done in a group. And so what now all of you are seeing now, you must understand, is that we innovated. It never was that way, right? So those of you who are in WealthyU, right, in our programs, you have skill building sessions, you analyze and research stocks together, you analyze and research mutual funds together, you learn how to open a brokerage account, you do all of that together. We didn't have that before, right? That was something that I did one-on-one with people. And so the idea was that we can operationalize it, and that, you know, women could internalize these skill sets and they could apply them, and that it would happen over and over and over again. And the goal would be that they would, and I'm going to show you that path in just a minute, because what I shared with you is that we're going to pivot. Now we've operationalized it. And so that is the book. The original idea was that we would be able to operationalize the concepts in a purse of your own and operationalize it to the point where any woman, no matter where she is on her journey, because in WealthyU, we say you can never be behind because everybody's starting from a different place, right? But if we internalized those skills and that you applied it, that what would happen is you would accelerate your financial growth and create legacy wealth, right? That was the original idea. And then it started happening. Miss Deb, I get texts. I just hit 6 figures. Miss Deb, I'm 3 times what I had. Miss Deb, I just hit 7 figures. Miss Deb, you're not going to believe this, but I'm multiple 7 figures right now. Now this happened over a period of time. Some of them were my original coaching clients. I just want you to understand. And so then what I had to ask them to do is, one of the things I ask all of you in WealthyU to do is, listen, when you have your financial transformation, that you're going to share it with others. Because that's the issue. Because we didn't come from wealth, and because we don't have anyone, we don't see anyone like ourselves, we don't even think it's possible, right? We think, let me tell you, can I be real with y'all? Now, let me tell you, I just, like, some of these excuses y'all be coming up with, and I'm saying y'all because we family, right? Regardless of what platform we're up on right now. Why it won't happen for you? Why it can happen for everybody else? Why it's too complicated? Why, why, right? And so then we came up with this acronym in WealthyU. Winners, okay? You got to want it. You got to know that I am responsible and no excuses. That is a winner, right? And so what's our other mantra? Our other mantra is, because here's the other thing I didn't realize. So many of you are so busy trying not to lose that you cannot win. And so you're risk averse. And the reason that you're risk averse is because no one ever showed you how. And so everything is met with, if somebody says to, and this is what's really deep. Can I go just a little deeper on this? This blew my mind when I finally figured it out. You know, I'd be talking to some of you like, how did you end up in this? You're like, well, they said I wouldn't lose any money. Like, well, you haven't made any money either, right? And so then it dawned on me, it's like, wow, that's like a psychosis, right? That's like somebody pushing a button on you and saying, listen, I'm going to show you how you can't lose your money. And so you don't even look at the fine print. He just told me I can't lose money. And then, or she, I'm not going to just put it on the guys, although, you know, I could, but I won't. And then, you know, then you're looking at your statements, you know, you have no idea what you're looking at. And then, you know, you're like, oh, well, at least it didn't go down, right? But it didn't go up either. And so are y'all with me? If I am telling the truth in the chat, put yes, I am telling the truth, or whatever, put truth in the chat. Okay, just put truth in the chat. Right. So what I want you to know is that this book is the culmination of all of the stories of all of the women who showed up and actually continue to show up, right? Who lean in, who want to learn, who take massive action, who decide that they're no longer going to be afraid. And I got to tell you, it has been blowing my mind, right? Like, I just want you to understand, you have this idea, and then you say, oh, yeah, it could be possible, right? But I've never seen it done like this before. So then you're taking a risk, right? You're taking a risk because you're asking people to rely on the information that you're giving them and to apply it, and that it will change their lives. And over, what I want you to know is the reason this book is so important. The reason this book is so important is because this is no longer archetypes. These are real people, right? Like, not only that, but you're going to be able to go on. I interviewed every one of these women that are in this book on Get Wealthy, and you can actually hear in their own voices the transformation. That is what's so awesome about it. But here's what I want you to know. So that's the backstory, but I need all of you to know, I need your help, right? Like, I need everybody who's on here tonight, I need you to reach out to 5 people, and I need you to tell them to buy this book on Amazon, okay? Now, if we could put the link in the chat, y'all, the Amazon book, and it has to be done by midnight. And the reason it has to be done by midnight is that in order for it to be a bestseller, we would have had to have sold enough books from yesterday and today, and we're doing great. Listen, we made number 1 in wealth management category. We made number 1 new releases in retirement planning, but we want to make number 1 bestseller. That's a big deal, because it's a big deal, because then it'll allow us to have more exposure as a bestseller, right? And more people to see it. And then we'll be able to impact those million women that we're trying to reach. Here's what I want you to know is that you could have the best idea, and you could be, like the just making amazing strides. But if nobody knows about it, agree or disagree with me, y'all. I want y'all to understand. So I want you, every one of you, to think of 5 people need to have this book, right? And I want you to get them to purchase it, right? And listen, some of you need to purchase some of these books for some of your cousins, your girlfriend, your auntie, your mama. Agree or disagree with me, ladies, right? Right. So that's what I want you to know. Okay. Agree. So if you are going to reach out to folks and make sure, and everybody who's listening to me on every platform, I need you to go to Amazon.com, put Wealth Secrets Deborah Owens in the search bar, and I need you to buy the book. You can buy the ebook for 99 cents. You can buy the book for $18.99. Doesn't matter which one you buy. We just want to make a stand today. And that's why we're celebrating tonight on this book launch. Now, I got another ask, like, what did our mother say? A closed mouth will not get fed, right? So I'm asking. I've been praying. And let me tell you, this was a lot of prayer. I just want all of you to know, this was not an easy task. Not an easy task, because you're asking people to bear their identities. And, sometimes that's not always easy for folks, right? But what I want to say to all of the women in WealthyU who are in this book, Stacy McCoy, Dr. Stacy McCoy, Dr. Sharon Deans. Let's see, let's go down the line. I should know them by heart. Leah Armstrong, Belinda Edwards, Sophonia Hardaway, Zena Island, Kim Nixon. I feel like I'm missing somebody right now. There are several women in this community who share their stories. Now, the next ask. So how many of you actually bought the book today? If you bought the book between yesterday and today, put yes in the chat. If you bought the book today, okay, put yes in the chat. Excellent. Well, here's the other thing is I love gifting people things, but I feel like you gotta earn it, okay? And so the other thing I want you to do is to go and place a review on the book, right? Put a review on Amazon on the book, and we're going to be looking at those reviews. And 3 of you are going to get the Legacy Wealth Bundle, okay? You're going to get an autographed copy of Wealth Secrets, an autographed copy of A Purse of Your Own, right? An autographed copy of Nickel and Dime Your Way to Wealth. That's the bundle. And a WealthyU plan. Okay. So I need you to go and make a review. We're going to randomly choose from those reviews, and 3 of you are going to get one of our Legacy Wealth bundles. Cool, cool, cool. All right. But there's more. Right? When we put this kind of effort in something, it is time to reboot. And so what I want to share with all of you is I talked about operationalizing what we do. And we are going to be introducing in September WealthyU 3.0, our reboot. And so we're going to go take it up another level, right? Because we've already did that in WealthyU. We have 3 programs now. WealthyU Ignite, we have the WealthyU Society, that's our flagship program. We have our Legacy Wealth Accelerator. And our Legacy Wealth Accelerator really is a result of women maturing and their assets getting to multiple hundred thousands. And then what they say, more money, more problems, right? So once you get it, you got to learn how to keep it. And so we introduced a program really providing even more strategy around tax advantage investing, accredited investing. And what's really, really awesome is many of the women in our program have now elevated, and one started a venture capital firm. Another is doing a lot of real estate, multifamily homes. And so it's just so wonderful to see it grow inside, right? So with all growth, what is important is that we innovate to address that growth. And also, what we also have to understand is that even our external forces cause us to have to innovate. And so in the coming months, September 1 is the target date, you will see WealthyU 3.0. But who wants to just get a little sneak peek about what that's going to look like? If you want to see a sneak peek on what this is going to look like, we're going to just have some fabulous things happening. We're going to have an event coming up. I can't quite announce it yet. We're not ready, but by midweek next week, we'll be ready. But if you want to know a sneak peek about what is to come, put yes in the chat. Denitra, why you always trying to go around and get the stuff? Don't you think you could win? I'm just messing with you, Denitra. See, Denitra is from Detroit, so I have to talk to her like she's my good girlfriend that I grew up with. I'm messing with you. Just check with your ambassador and figure out how to get one of these planners. Okay. So in the chat, you guys ready? I'm going to just give you a little preview around what WealthyU 3.0 will look like, right? Now, remember, we have a whole new book, right, with more insights. So what is that's going to require us to do is really up level, right? And now innovate and level up, reboot, and use this as the centerpiece of our content. That's number one, okay? Number two, one of the other things that we've been working on is what we call our legacy wealth blueprint, because that's really what it's become. You know, initially, the whole idea of WealthyU was simply to teach you how to accelerate your financial growth, right? And that's sort of where we stopped. But as as things evolved and as you grew and as our footprint grew and as our impact has grown, what is required us to do is now think bigger, right? Think bigger. And it's going to require who is ready to go higher. That's all I want to know. If you're ready to go to higher, put yes in the chat. And for many of you who've been, on this journey with me, we have innovated several times, and we will continue to go to. All right. So Rose says she's ready. Letitia says she's ready. Anna says she's ready. Patricia says she's ready. Gina says she's ready. Okay, you're ready to go higher. Well, right now, what I want to do is I want you to imagine. Well, actually, you don't even have to imagine, because what we are about to introduce is the journey of the women in Wealth Secrets. That's really what you're about to see. And as we launch WealthyU 3.0, it really is the vision is for us to to really make the shift. But before I called it the wealth mindset, but now what I want to call it is the legacy wealth mindset. So can you all see this? So this is the legacy wealth blueprint, and it's the journey that literally every woman in this book took. And it really starts, right? It really starts with the first thing you do in WealthyU is identify your wealth gap, right? Like, what is the gap between what is going to take you to the goal of financial independence? And so the next step, and so in that case, what you see is you make the shift, right? And so really the first stage, let me start there. The first stage is financial awakening. The next stage, if you see where I'm going here, is wealth acceleration. And the next stage is legacy wealth creator. And so typically when you come into WealthyU, The first thing you do is identify your wealth gap. The next thing you do is identify what your financial freedom factor is. And then you literally create your 7-figure wealth blueprint. And then, and so now you've got to implement, right? So now you know what you have to do. You woke. So somebody can say whatever they want about that word, but hey, you gonna get financially woke. I'll co-opt it, right? And so then it's about you really understanding, okay, so how do I get to that next, how do I accelerate my financial growth? So then it's really about you understanding what you have, right? So then you learn how to analyze and research, and then you understand what, like I said, many of you are playing not to lose and not to win, and then you learn how to increase your returns, and then you figure out what your investment opportunity levers are, and they're different for everybody depending upon what kind of program you have at work, or if you're self-employed or whatever. And then once you figure out that, and once you learn how to accelerate your growth, then you got to learn how to keep it, right? And so then you begin to learn, and that's what you learn in the Legacy Wealth Accelerator, is you expand your portfolio. You go from just investing through your 401k, and you invest in other programs, and then you learn high net worth strategies, and then you become a legacy wealth creator. And we've coined this now, from earner to heiress, right? Because now you're going to create, that inheritance, you're going to reclaim it. You're going to reclaim your inheritance. And now you're going to go from legacy, from earner to heiress, from earner to legacy wealth creator. That is the vision. And that is what WealthyU 3.0 is about. Who's ready to go from earner to heiress? If you're ready to go from earner to heiress, put yes in the chat. Put yes in the Facebook group, wherever you're viewing us at next level. That is next level. That is WealthyU 3.0. So get ready. But here's what I want all of you to understand. That everything that we've done in WealthyU is simply in response to your needs. That's what I want you to know, is how committed all of the people, all of the women in WealthyU is. I would be remiss if I did not mention Stephanie Lee, who is the one that I come up with these harebrained schemes. And she's like, yep, let's do it, right? And a lot of the things that we do to innovate really are me listening to the WealthyU ambassadors and your member success advisors. They're the ones who say, Miss Deb, we were in the skill building thing and somebody said, how come we don't have this? I don't understand this. Could we do it? And I'll say, well, that's interesting. I wonder why they feel that way. What could we do to address it? And then that's where a lot of the topics from skill building came from. So initially it was just analyzing and researching mutual funds and analyzing and researching stocks. Then it went to understanding a stock watch list, how you open a brokerage account, how you deal with financial apps. All of those were in response to the questions that all of you asked. Is this making sense to all of you? So the excitement is not just about this book, but it is about what the book now allows us to do. So Linda said, yes, ready to move to the next level. That's right. Now, I'm glad you said that, Linda. Linda's my other good girlfriend from the great state of Michigan as well. We got a lot of Michiganders in here, right? So for some of you, one of the things that I've decided to do, because it was really on my heart, is some of you really would benefit from a deep dive intensive. And so to that end, one of the things that I am going to introduce is an accelerator of sorts. And the reason why this is so important is it's going to allow me to learn from you. So here's all I'm going to say. I am about to devote 7 weeks to 10 women. You have to apply. This is going to be an intensive, and that journey I just showed you is what we're going to go through in 7 weeks with the goal of you having your legacy wealth blueprint. It's going to be intimate. It's only going to be 10 women, and you have to apply. If you're already in WealthyU, our programs, you already have access to this information, right? However, for those of you who want a more intimate 7 week, after 7 weeks, you will have your legacy wealth blueprint. If you want to continue into our programs, you will be able to do this. But before I show you the details, you have to qualify and apply. So if we could put the link in the chat, you will apply to our program. And so everyone who feels like they want to apply, that they want to spend a 7-week intensive building, taking that journey with me, that legacy wealth blueprint, just click on the link and apply. And you will get an invitation to learn the details of this program. But just know it is the precursor to WealthyU 3.0. And you are going to be going on that journey that all of the women in the Wealth Secrets book went through. And we are going to be using the Wealth Secret books, as we always do. We always have a textbook, right? In this journey. And I'm excited about what's to come. Now, let me just say this. No woman will be left behind, right? Because WealthyU 3.0 is coming, right? That's September 1. Okay. But for those of you who feel like, I need to ignite, that I need to accelerate, that I need something intensive, that I need something intimate, that I need to finally get my 7-figure my legacy wealth blueprint. I don't even want to call it the 7-figure blueprint. It is now the legacy wealth blueprint. If you're ready to take action, go ahead and apply. And then you're going to be invited to a session to learn more about the ins and outs. So again, let me just review, right? We are on a mission to help 1 million women get to $1 million in investable assets so that they can teach and pass this knowledge on to their families and create legacy wealth. It is not about the money, it is about the mission. And WealthyU 3.0, this book is the center of it, because in it is proof positive that if you apply what you learn in WealthyU, you can create legacy wealth. That is what it's about. The money is not about us. It's about leaving a legacy. But the most valuable asset we can leave is right in this book. And do you know what it is? Does anybody want to guess? It's the knowledge of how to build wealth. So ladies, let's make this a bestseller. Let's go to Amazon.com. Let's make sure that you buy the book. But the other thing that I need you to do is I need you to write those reviews on Amazon, right? And many of these stories you already know because many of you were here. Some of you are in it. And if you're in this book, I definitely want you to leave a review. Can I count on you guys? Can I count on my winners to help us win, to help us on our mission, and to become a one of the million with a million? Again, if you want to apply, if you need more information, reach out to your ambassador, look in the community. We'll post the link there. Apply for our 7-week accelerator, which is the precursor to WealthyU 3.0. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Oh, but guess what? Save the best for last. What was I thinking about? Let me just show y'all this. I'm telling you, we have been busy, busy, busy. And what I want you to know is that we have been busy because we are ready to unveil WealthyU 3.0. And in preparation for that, hang on, I'm just going to share my desktop. Our new revamped website, WealthyU.com. If you go there, you're going to see something totally different. The truth about wealth will set you free. The new book, Buy the Book, our existing coaching programs, we're about to take that up a level. What I just want you to know that we've been busy working and innovating, and now it's time to go to the next level. And if you're ready to go to the next level with me, put yes in the chat. Is this awesome? Let me tell you, we've got some creative people working with us. We are investing, but we are investing because we know the best return on investment is all of you. And so I just want you all to know how grateful I am for those of you who are already in our WealthyU programs, for all of you who have supported me throughout this journey. You just have no idea how grateful I am. But I want all of you to know is that, listen, the best is yet to come. All right, y'all. Have a great evening. And thank you so much for joining us on this Wealth Secrets book launch. And let's go. Ready to go next level.